What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of Joe Winko Talk. I've already discussed this twice before, but I just felt like making another episode about it again, um, because I didn't really like the way I explained the whole story last time, and also because this whole gloomy life story that I'm going to be talking about in this episode, it's kind of the inspiration for my next upcoming movie, Call of the Scarecrow, which is about a killer scarecrow on the loose in Arkansas. So, this episode of Joe Winko Talk is going to be about the time I almost ran away to Arkansas forever. And it's a pretty gloomy life story, but I just wanted to talk about it again because I didn't like the way I explained it last time. So, here's what happened. Back in October of 2013, when I was 17 years old, my adoptive parents made me get a job, and I got this job working retail, and I was really excited to have a job at first, but then after a while, soon after, I found out that it wasn't fun at all, and that it was really stressful, and it was really overwhelming, and I wasn't happy at it, and I really wanted to quit. But my adoptive mother, she's very controlling, for those of you who don't know by now. She kept telling me, "No, you have to work that job. You're not going to be sitting up in my house on your computer all the time." And every time I brought up quitting, she would say that. And I was really miserable at the job. In 2014, I was still working at the job, and I started cutting my wrists because I was so miserable there all the time. And I don't do that anymore, but back in 2014, I would. And then in August of 2014, I tried committing suicide because I hated the job so much. That obviously did not work at all and was not successful because here I am right now. And I did ask my boss to cut my hours down. I asked her if she could cut me down to 10 hours a week. And she did, kinda. Like, sometimes she had me working 12 hours and 11 hours a week, but she did cut them down to, like, roughly 10 hours a week. And I still didn't like it there. It was, it was still too stressful and overwhelming. And nowadays, I didn't really know this back then, but nowadays, I realize that I can't hold a job at all because my conditions I suffer from. Most of them are mental conditions, but I have autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and one psychiatrist even believes that I may have paranoid schizophrenia. But that's a whole nother topic that I'm going to discuss in another video. So, by June of 2015, I was still working at the job, and I was still miserable, and I still hated it there. And I couldn't quit because my adoptive mom said if I quit, she would kick me out of the house, and then I would become homeless. I also suffer from type 1 diabetes. It's a physical illness. It does affect my mind, and it does affect my thoughts and my mood and everything. But I also suffer from type 1 diabetes. If I became homeless, I would eventually die because I would have no way to get insulin. And I already explained that in one of my previous episodes of Joe Winko Talk. I'll have the link to it in the pinned comments. I also did an episode of Joe Winko Talk about the time I attempted suicide in 2014 because of this job. I'll have a link to that in the pinned comment as well. So, what I decided to do instead was I was miserable, so I thought I should just run away. Just run away and never come back. That's what I wanted to do. And if I would have done that, I still would have died anyway, because I would have been homeless and would have had no way to get insulin and would have died anyway. So I just thought I should just run away. And what I want people to understand is I'm not suicidal at all. I'm just not afraid to die. Like if someone told me, "Oh, you're gonna die in 3 days," I wouldn't care about it at all. I would be a tad bit bummed out, to be completely honest, but I honestly wouldn't care about it at all. You should change your life, try to make it happy. Well, at that time, there was really nothing I could do. I would have been homeless if I quit the job, and my adoptive mother made me keep the job and everything, so I just decided to run away. So here's what I did. I was 19 years old in summer of 2015. I was still working the job and everything. So here's what I did. In June 2015, I posted an ad on Craigslist, and I typed in that I wanted to run away forever and that I didn't like living with my adoptive parents. My life with my adoptive parents was atrocious, and I wanted to run away forever and leave them forever. And I posted a couple pictures of me on the ad too, on the Craigslist ad. I posted this picture. That's a picture of me at the park in May of 2015. And I also posted this picture of me wearing my cape and bandana back in October of 2014. And I also posted this picture. That's me back in December of 2014. So those 3 pictures of me were on the Craigslist ad because I wanted to show them what I looked like and who I was and everything, since they were going to be picking me up and taking me away and dropping me off somewhere. So then later on, I got a reply on Craigslist that a couple days later, well, I don't know exactly when it was, but I got a reply on Craigslist. This guy, because I had my phone number on the ad, and he called me and he told me that I was very handsome and everything. He sounded like the killer's voice from Scream.
Tatum, just get in the car.
Hello, Sydney. Scary night, isn't it? With the murders and all, it's like right out of a horror movie or something.
That's what he sounded like. He told me that I was very handsome, and he said, I'm sorry you're dealing with all that hard stuff in life and everything, and he says, but I read that you wanted to run away forever. And then he told me, if you want to run away forever, I'm going to be heading to Arkansas soon, and I'm going through Wisconsin. I'll come and pick you up and take you to Arkansas if you want to run away from Wisconsin and leave Wisconsin forever. Because also, I really hate Wisconsin and want to leave forever, but I already explained that to you guys. Here's what I thought. Well, he told me that he wanted to meet me at the abandoned grocery store parking lot. I did a video there a few months ago, like earlier this year, at this abandoned grocery store at 1 a.m. And he told me he'd be driving a black van. He wanted me to go there, get in the car with him, and drive away, and then he would take me down to Arkansas. Here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that I was going to meet him at the parking lot. He was going to pick me up. He was going to take me to Arkansas, drop me off at a huge forest out in the middle of nowhere, and I would wander around the forest aimlessly until I collapse and faint and die, either from dehydration or from diabetic complications from not having my insulin, because that would only take 5 to 8 days to happen for the diabetes to kill me. But that didn't end up happening, obviously, and I'm going to explain that soon. So, the night before I was going to run away and meet him, I went online and I was Googling Arkansas because I was thinking, I never really thought much of the state of Arkansas, but back then, and no offense to the people who live in Arkansas, but I was thinking Arkansas, that just the name of that place, it sounds gloomy, like Arkansas, like a saw you use to kill someone. That's just my autism mind thinking like that. I have nothing against the state of Arkansas, obviously, and I don't mean to like talk bad about it or anything. But I thought that just sounds like a place where people go off to die at. That's just what I thought. And I know that's not true, but that's no offense to anyone who lives in Arkansas, but that's just what I felt. Then I went online and I Googled some gloomy stuff that happened in Arkansas, and I found this. Okay. Well, one thing I found was this one woman who was murdered in Arkansas. She's unidentified. She was a Jane Doe. But they have pictures of her while she was alive, that were taken of her while she was alive. Here she is. That's her. They think her name is Mercedes, but she's also known as the Union County Jane Doe. She was killed in Arkansas by her pimp. She was a prostitute who was homeless, and she was riding around on the streets, and she was murdered by her pimp because he was trying to make sexual advances towards her. She refused, so then he shot her to death in a motel, and then he killed her. and now they don't know who she is or where she came from, and she was a prostitute. When I read that, I kind of related to that story a bit, because back when I was really young, it wasn't like I needed the money or anything, but I actually tried out like prostitution before, back when I was 16. It was only a couple of times, so it wasn't like I was like making it a career or anything. I just tried it out once, like had sex with someone and then asked them for money. That's basically what it was. But I always felt like if it wasn't for me having the diabetes and wasn't for me going to die already, and if I would have ran away to Arkansas, I kind of feel like I would have ended up like her, kind of doing what she was doing, like hustling on the streets to survive and everything. Then I found this. This was a woman who was another unidentified woman who was killed in Arkansas in 1994, in February 1994. She was an African American female, and she was shot to death, and they found her body in a creek in Arkansas, like in a creek bed in Arkansas. She died from gunshot wounds. She was an African American female. She was naked from the waist down, and she was wearing a red sweater with gold stars. And I'll show you guys a picture of that right now. Here it is. So that's the sweater she was wearing. It's a red sweater with gold stars, and I think that sweater is so haunting because it really reminds me of Amy from The Walking Dead. She wore a shirt with stars before she was killed. Also because I have a red sweater like that, and she was killed in February. February of 2008 was also the month I was diagnosed with diabetes, and that's what I would have been dying of if I would have ran away to Arkansas. My diabetes would have killed me. And also, she was unidentified. She was a Jane Doe, and no one knew who she was. And it's 2017 right now, and they still don't know who she was. There's been no update on her story. They don't know who she was. They just took a picture of her sweater, and they just buried her somewhere. And, that's how I thought I would end up, because I don't really know anyone in Arkansas. Like, I actually do have, like, 2 friends who I know in Arkansas, but, like, if I would have ran away to Arkansas in 2015, and if my body would have been found, I really don't even think it would have been found nowadays. If it would have been found, I don't think those friends I know down in Arkansas would have knew about it at all, really. And, I also thought that I would be buried right next to her. The woman who was killed in Arkansas in 1994, the one with the gold stars. That's another thing I felt, too. And then next I found this girl. She was a 6-year-old girl who went missing from Arkansas. Her name was, let me double check. I know her first name was Morgan Nick. That's what her name was. She was a 6-year-old girl who went missing from Arkansas. She went missing in 1995, and I was born in 1995. And so that's why I felt connected to this, and she went missing from a baseball field late at night because her and her family were they went to a Little League game, and she was collecting fireflies with her friends out near the baseball field. Then what happened was they went back to the parking lot near the baseball field, and she was dumping sand out of her shoes, and her little friends who she was running around with and playing with while they were collecting fireflies, they were the last ones to see her alive. They said that a man drove up in a red car, and they described him as a creepy man, and they last seen him talking to Morgan. They both looked away, but then when they looked back, Morgan was gone, and so was the red van the guy was driving, and the guy was gone too, so they think that he kidnapped her. Here's a picture of her right here, and that's a picture of what she might look like today. Her AIDS progress photo. I'm just going to share that to alert everyone about Morgan Nick. She went missing in June of 1995. And here's the suspect who kidnapped her, a sketch of the suspect who they think kidnapped her. So, yeah, that's that. And I felt connected to this story, as I said earlier, because I was also born the same year she went missing. I was born in December 5th, 1995. She went missing in June 1995. But also, this whole thing was going on in June of 2015, 20 years after she went missing. And technically, if I would have ran away to Arkansas, if this guy would have took me to Arkansas, no one from Wisconsin would have knew where I went. So I would have been listed as a missing person, and no one would have known where I'd gone. Just like Morgan, no one knows where she went. So that was another reason why I felt connected to this story, to that story. So he told me that he wanted me to meet him at the abandoned parking lot, at the abandoned grocery store parking lot at 1 a.m. I have a video of me at that grocery store parking lot. It's still abandoned to this day. I'll have the link to that in the pinned comments. So at 1 a.m. I walked out of the house, and when I walked out of the house, the only thing I had on was my shoes, a pair of shorts, and I had my red bandana on, too. That's all I had, this red bandana I wear in all my episodes of Joe Winko Talk. And I was walking down the street to the abandoned grocery store, and I was looking up at the sky, and there were so many stars up in the sky. There were, like, so many, and then this may seem a bit twisted, but my autism mind kind of thought of this. I thought, those are all the spirits of the dead people who came before you, who are waiting for you to go join them. Because I knew I wasn't going to survive. Like, being homeless in Arkansas, being left in a forest out in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, and being diabetic and not having any way to get my insulin, I would not have survived. And I was okay with that, because, I was ready to go, because there's been a lot of other messed up stuff that happened in my life and everything. So, I finally made it to the baseball field, and I was using my cell phone as a light, and then I walked into it wasn't a baseball field, the abandoned parking lot, my bad, the abandoned grocery store parking lot, and I was using my cell phone as a light, because it was really dark out, because it was 1 a.m., I got there at 12:55, because I wanted to be there on time, and then I saw the van, the black van parked away, and I was going to walk up to it and get into it, and I was like, okay, it's all going to end now. You're going to get in this car, you're going to be on the road for a couple hours, then you're going to be left in a forest in Arkansas all by yourself. And I kind of did, mutter a prayer to God a little bit, because, I wasn't afraid, but I just wanted to make sure that God understood what I was doing, and I said, God, you understand exactly why I'm doing this, and I wanted to go and I told him that I wanted to go to heaven after I die, and I'm pretty sure he would have sent me to heaven. But what happened next was, I walked up to this car, all of a sudden the engine lights turn on, and the lights in the car all turn on, and then I see the guy in the car, and he's staring at me, and he has his eyes wide open, and the thing I remember most was the look on his face, and his eyes, and everything. He looked directly at me. He knew I was going to be out there. He knew that was me, because I had the picture of myself wearing the bandana on the Craigslist ad. And I told him I was going to meet him at the grocery store parking lot at 1 a.m. But he looked at me, and his eyes were wide open, and he was freaked out. And I was just standing there what? Why is he looking at me like that? Then all of a sudden I hear his engine rev up, and I was like, oh God, is he going to run me over? But he didn't. He sped around me, and then he drove off really fast and drove down the road and just left. And when he did that, I was really angry. I was so pissed off, and I was going oh, God damn it. And I was so angry, because that was my only chance to leave Wisconsin forever. That was my only chance to run away and ditch my adoptive family and leave everything forever and go back to heaven and be with my uncle again, and he just drives off and leaves. I was really pissed off, and really disappointed, and really pissed off, and I was so angry. So then I walked home, and then that's basically it. I didn't actually run away to Arkansas, and I was mad about that. Well, on the bright side, I did end up quitting the job in December of 2015, but if you want to find out what happened after I did that, I'll have the link to that in the pinned comments. It did not go good when my adoptive parents found out. And right now I'm living, well, I don't live with my adoptive parents anymore for other reasons. I'm living in an apartment that they're paying for, but they're going to be sending me down south to live with relatives in the near future. And I am kind of happy about that, a little bit, because, well, I honestly have mixed feelings about it, because a psychic told me that I was going to die, but now I know that what she said was not true. And I'll have a link to that in the pinned comments as well, how she told me I was going to die, because she said I was going to be homeless in October of 2017, and that I was going to run away like I did here, but except I was going to go to North Carolina, and that I was going to be killed by a tornado out in a forest, but now we know that that's not going to happen, because I'm not going to be homeless. My adoptive parents are going to be sending me down south to live with relatives. So, that's that, and I just felt like talking about this again, because that's what my next Sims 2 horror movie, Call of the Scarecrow, is kind of going to be based off of if I would have ran away to Arkansas, except I find a killer scarecrow on the loose in Arkansas. Also, there's one more thing. Now, in 2016, I've discovered this song online. It's an 80s song. It's called Cruel Summer by Bananarama. And, I listened to the lyrics of that song, and it kind of makes me... It makes me think of the time... All the lyrics in that song basically explain my situation of when I almost ran away to Arkansas forever. And, I have the song right here, and I'm going to play it for you guys right now. Let me just get it loaded up. And it's like an 80s song, and it has that ghostly vibe to it. And all 80s songs have, that ghostly vibe. And, it's... The moment I hear the xylophones in that song, I immediately think of the flag, Arkansas, and I literally think of me wandering around the forest and getting really sick and then collapsing and dying and everything, and my whole situation. I even made a music video of The Sims 2 about it. I'll have a link to that in the pinned comments as well. But here's the song. Here it is. Okay, hot summer streets and the pavements are burning, I sit around. That verse of lyrics describes how I felt at the job, working retail and everything. Hot summer streets, pavements are burning, representing that I was uncomfortable, didn't like being there at all, wanted to leave. And I sit around, that's like me at the working the job and everything and not liking being there at all, and just having to be there because I can't quit it all because my adoptive mom would have kicked me out. So that's what that verse of the song meant to me. Okay, trying to smile, but the air is so heavy and dry. Like, trying to not be so miserable, trying to distract myself, trying to not have it be so tough and everything, like trying to get myself to say, oh, it's alright, it's not that bad, but the air is so heavy and dry, like I can't do it because it's miserable and everything, and I don't want to be there at all. That's what that part of the song meant to me. So, yeah. Okay, strange voices are saying things I cannot understand. Retail's not fun at all, because you have a lot of people bitching at you, a lot of customers. My boss kept telling me, oh, get the customers to buy as much stuff as possible, get them to do this and do that and everything else. And the customer's going like, oh, I don't like this, or, oh, what about this, or, oh, what about that? And I could not stand it. It was not good, and, you know, it wasn't good, and people tell me, well, why don't you try getting a job doing something else? Well, I did try fast food for one day, but I couldn't do that at all, because that was even worse. And you know, the whole thing is, I can't hold a job or concentrate on a job because it's too stressful and overwhelming because all my conditions I listed. That's a whole nother story. I already explained that, so let me keep playing the song. Okay, it's too close for comfort. This heat has got right out of hand. That explains that I had enough, that I wanted to run away and leave forever. So that part of the song explains that I wanted to run away and leave forever, and it got too out of hand. I can't handle this anymore, so I have to leave. Okay, it's a cruel, cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. Well, it was a cruel summer. All this was going on during the summer, because it was in summer of 2015 when I tried running away to Arkansas forever, and leaving me here on my own. I thought the guy was going to take me away and leave me alone in Arkansas where I wander around and die. And, that's what leaving me here on my own meant, like leaving me here on my own in Arkansas. So that's what that part of the song means to me. There's more. Okay, now you're gone. As I explained earlier, if I would have ran away to Arkansas, I would have died because I would have had no way of getting insulin and I would have been homeless, especially if I was left out in the forest. So I would have died if I would have ran away to Arkansas, would not have survived, and then my body would have been found, just like that Jane Doe with the red sweater with the gold stars, and I thought I was going to be buried next to her and everything. So, yeah, there's that also. Okay, if the city is crowded, my friends are away, and I'm on my own. That meant to me, like the store I worked at, retail, during the crowded days, it was really busy, so that's what the city is crowded meant to me. And all the customers were really annoying, and I could not stand any of them, and I just hated it and wanted to get out of there and did not want to be there at all and wanted to leave. So that's what the city is crowded meant to me. And my friends are away. Well, I had some friends who passed away, and I missed them and everything, and one friend I had died of a methamphetamine overdose in late 2013, like around the time I started the job, so I was still kind of dealing with that a bit, and I haven't really talked about it, and plus I missed my uncle who passed away also, and so that's what it meant by my friends are away and I'm on my own, because I was on my own, kinda in a way, and, next there's this. Okay, it's too hot to handle, so I gotta get up and go. That means that I can't take this anymore. I gotta run away and leave, and that's what I tried doing with posting the ad on Craigslist saying that I wanted to run away forever, and the guy said he would take me to Arkansas, so that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna get up and go and never come back. So yeah. Okay, so, that's, the song basically goes on, like, repeating the chorus over and over again after that, so I'm not gonna play the whole thing. But in the second chorus, they say, it's a cruel, cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Now you're gone. You're not the only one. So the part, you're not the only one, goes back to when I was Googling the people who died in Arkansas, like the Union County Jane Doe, the girl named Mercedes, or the other Jane Doe who was shot to death and her body was found in a creek and she was wearing a red sweater with gold stars. Or even Morgan Nick, who went missing in Arkansas in 1995, and I was going to go missing in Wisconsin, but then be found dead in Arkansas and unidentified, like the Jane Doe from 1994, or the Union County Jane Doe from 1991, the one who was working as a prostitute. So that's what it meant, like, you're not the only one. Like, I'm not the only one who gone missing in Arkansas, or the only one who died in Arkansas. That's what "you're not the only one" meant. And, that's basically it for the song. And so whenever I hear that song makes me think of Arkansas. And, because of this story, I felt like I'm spiritually connected to the state of Arkansas because of all of this. And I really do want to visit Arkansas because of this also. And it's where my next Sims 2 horror movie, The Call of the Scarecrow, is going to take place at, in Arkansas. And it's going to be about me running away to Arkansas. Except there's going to be a killer scarecrow on the loose there, and I talked about this on other websites too, and I posted about it on this one web forum. I talk about my life on a lot of web forums, really. And I posted about this on one web forum, and this woman who lives in Arkansas, she told me, this is what she said as a reply to when I explained this whole story on a web forum, and I'm going to show it to you guys right now. Not going to show her name or her username or the website or anything, just out of respect for her. But it's that she typed in, "I'm a 6th generation Arkansan." I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. "It's actually a very lovely place. Most bodies eventually get found, usually by a hunter. Although there is a floater that got washed away in a flood, and he's still missing, probably in a log jam. The buzzards and crows will find him, and then eventually the searchers will eventually. I doubt you would want to wander around in the woods in the summer. There are a lot of ticks, as in lots. Also venomous snakes and other bugs that will eat your ass up." I never thought of the ticks, but yeah, that is true. It really would have been a cruel summer, but it would have been too late, because I would have been stranded out there by then, so it wouldn't matter that much. And plus, with my diabetes, and with my blood sugars going up, I wouldn't really notice it that much after a long time. "The ticks are out year-round in the southern part of the state. Do not forget the feral hogs. Yeah, those are dangerous. Coyotes, bears, and mountain lions in some of the more remote areas. I doubt you would die of dehydration. Plenty of water here in the woods. Exposure is unlikely unless you were in the northern part of the state in winter. It can have very cold snaps down around 0. That surprised me. I didn't know Arkansas could get that cold. But by exposure, I meant heat exposure, being outside while it's really hot outside and then sweating to death and dying. And dehydration, yeah, that I probably wouldn't have died like that because there's plenty of water out here in the woods. But what really would have killed me was not having insulin, really. And then they said, "If you're looking for a deliverance type of scenario, that doesn't happen. Not anymore anyway. LOL. Just kidding. Anyway, hope things get better for you. Please don't come to my state to die. If you want to learn more about the state, I suggest Encyclopedia of Arkansas on the net." Well, that's nice of her that she didn't want me to die in her state at all. So yeah, but, well, also the wild animals, for those of you who don't know, I'm 6'3", you can scare wild animals away. Bears rarely attack humans as predatory, but they only attack humans in defense or if you startle them or something. And the feral hogs, yeah, but I would kick a feral hog's ass if it ever tried messing with me. And coyotes are afraid of adults, and you have to scare away mountain lions. You can scare away a mountain lion easily. But yeah, the ticks and the bugs, yeah, those would be a problem. And if I was bit by a venomous, poisonous snake, that would probably give me a much more humane death. I would just faint and die of a snake bite. So yeah, that would be really painful though for after it first happens. But I don't know. So yeah, that's basically that. And it is a gloomy story and everything, but and Joe Winko Talk, I want you guys to know more about me and what has happened and everything, and how my autism mind works, and how all this happened. I did end up quitting the job, not going to be homeless, so I guess things have gotten better for me, kinda. I'm still in Wisconsin right now, but I won't be here for too long. I'm excited to leave because I hate the state and want to get out of it because too many bad memories here. But I'll be out soon enough. And that's it for this episode of Joe Winko Talk. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. So that's it. So peace out, people.